The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development launched the Neighborhood Stabilization Program in 2008 to stabilize communities across the country hit hardest by the housing crisis. We visited 4 of these communities in 2011 and now return in 2014 to learn about the successes,
Congratulations.
the challenges, and the continued stabilization efforts. Lake Worth is a small, built-out city with older housing stock, located in Palm Beach County, Florida. The county had over 30,000 new foreclosures filed in 2009.
Our property values had dipped almost 50% in the last several years. We needed some serious help for a very serious problem that affected almost every block in the city. The Neighborhood Stabilization Program has had an incredible impact here in Lake Worth. Our values last year, our property values went up 12%. This year they went up 19%. Although, it was about buying foreclosed properties and it was about housing, it was also about really rebuilding the neighborhoods from scratch that have deteriorated over the years because of neglect or because of foreclosure or from just people moving out of the area. What we'd like to do is and we really wanted to provide a redevelopment strategy that would really be unique to this city. There's so many musicians here. There's so many artists here. We're less than a mile from the beach. We have a large gay community here, and we also have a large Hispanic community here. So we made sure that everything we did really reached a really broad range of people.
Our goal is to get 130 properties, and
we tried to get as many properties as we could in one area together to really have a substantial impact. We had 19 partners that included some people who had expertise in housing, like Adopt a Family.
And where else is Abraham Lincoln?
Adopt a Family is a nonprofit in Palm Beach County. We were founded in 1983, and we serve families who are either homeless, at risk of becoming homeless.
It would be great for one of the townhouses.
We originally started as sort of a social service heavy industry and backed into housing once we realized that, how vital of a role that played in our families' lives. One of the challenges we have here as a social service oriented nonprofit is trying to distinguish, which properties we should go for, and this became especially an issue with single-family homes and a tight budget defined by our grant. And so one of the things that we would do is we would go out and do significant inspections. They were comprehensive. You would see some amazing things in some of these houses, the floors falling in uneven. Unfortunately, a lot of the homes we saw would require tear down and new construction. NSP2 has allowed us to provide 24 rentals to low-income households in Palm Beach County, and over 90% of those are targeting households earning less than 50% of the area median income. Big piece of our rental portfolio is a 6-plex rehab that we did. We're able to offer the units for $550 a month, which is basically unheard of in Palm Beach County.
I was living in a trailer, no flooring, plumbing issues. I'm a single mom, so it was really tough. It's life-changing. I just was so grateful every day for living here, because where I was living before, I was so upset every day having to put my daughter through that and living in such bad conditions.
We've also sold 17 homes to folks that were earning less than 120% of area median income, and all of these homes, the majority of them, were rehabs that were sitting vacant, abandoned, that the neighbors, got tired of seeing.
Before I moved here, I was living in a efficiency apartment with my 2 children. And I found out about Adopt a Family and didn't really think my credit was all there, and found out my credit was good, and I got accepted into the program, and I love it. Here I am. I'm about a couple miles from work. The grocery stores are extremely close. The schools are extremely close. All of us have our own rooms. I couldn't pick a better house to live in.
One of the things that we all learned pretty quickly was that the local real estate agents, the realtors in our community, were not necessarily knocking down the walls to sell $60,000 houses to families that might be hard to get a mortgage for. I think all of us were able to learn quite a bit about the entire real estate transaction. For me, it was completely new, just from the contract straight to the closing, virtually everything in between.
Let's go back to.
There's a lot more of FaceTime, a lot more contact, a lot more hand-holding. The buyers benefited because I think the relationship that formed was a lot stronger. So NSP2 has been a huge boost, I think, to our agency's capacity.
This will be the front elevation, and then we'll have some kind of tower.
Residential on top or gallery on bottom?
Yeah,
This is a community made up of creative people. So we thought, okay, well, what can we build that would really entice artists to come here? And that's how the Artist Lofts came about.
I was driving by it for a year, watching the construction happen. It's a 2-bedroom studio, live workspace, and so we use it all. It's a dream home for us. The utilities are probably less than half of what we were paying before. And as far as affordability of the housing, I can't imagine there was another deal like it, not just in South Florida, but anywhere. It has made life a lot less anxious for us.
The site that La Jolla is on has been a blighted property for more than 6 years on a major roadway. And people are always saying, when are you going to do something about it? So when we heard that it was in foreclosure, we thought this is a perfect opportunity for multifamily housing. We were really fortunate to have the Community Land Trust of Palm Beach County respond to the RFP because they really understood Lake Worth and they were dedicated to providing affordable housing here in perpetuity on that particular piece of property.
Well, you're here at La Jolla Villages, the affordable rental housing that was partly financed by NSP2 funding, and we're a little bit over 50% of construction. So you can see that the roofs are going up over here, they're putting up the trusses. The site also has some really unique green features. This is going to be our living wall. It's basically a vertical garden. And we'll use some of the water that we use to water it to reclaim it and use it in the splash pad that's going to be going here. Behind the living wall, we're going to have a sound barrier wall to keep some of the sound from the railroad tracks from affecting the residents. We really wanted to build this sustainable and also taking into mind what the utility expenses are to the residents here, trying to keep it as affordable as possible.
The kitchen's over there, yeah.
We do have a 10% set aside of the units at La Jolla for veterans, and we also have a preference for them overall, so we'll have an exclusive marketing period to veterans. At any time in Palm Beach County, there's 300 veterans that are on Section 8 vouchers that are specifically for veterans. People are transitioning back, they don't have a place to live, we help them get back on their feet. We already knew it was a tight deal because of the size. We didn't realize how much. So we had to go after additional sources of funding. But it wouldn't have worked without all those partners.
The program income comes into play because it allows us to continue to provide affordable housing, which we desperately need. It has helped us attract, believe it or not, millions of dollars into the city, and it's going to allow us to do some really cool future projects. The Neighborhood Stabilization Program has given us this one-time shot of adrenaline that has really propelled us into where we are now. We have a lot more people interested in Lake Worth, not only investors, but also other government agencies that now see the needs in the area. You have people here who have come up to me and said, you're doing a great job. I can see all these things that I had really hoped would happen all along. Finally, now we've gotten that shot to really make stuff happen.